Welcome to episode 1 of Keys to the Hustle, and welcome our first key, Justine Valander, who was my first believer, I truly think, in real estate, and my director and principal over at Centurion. Welcome, Justine.
Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for having me, Patty.
Oh, any day. May I ask, our first question, I suppose, is how did you get into real estate?
Oh, so even from a young age, I've had a really inquisitive personality. I've always been into all sorts, a bit of a tomboy, but a people's person. I went into hospitality at about the age of 14, 15 when I lived in the UK. And then from there, I came to Australia when I was 20.
Mm.
Went to university. I did something completely different. I did a degree in fashion and design. And I always had this idea of wanting to combine. I had a really creative side to me. And then I had this other side of where I loved people. I actually studied psychology for 2 years. I've traveled a bit around the world. I've met lots of different people. So it was trying to find something that combined the two. And then from there, I was about 22, 23, maybe 24.
Mhm.
And then yeah, I jumped into real estate. I don't know if I found real estate or if it found me, but yeah.
Oh, beautiful. So when you were 22, you got your start. From there, where did you go with regards to your next steps after that?
Yeah, I watched back then it was Foxtel, and
Mm.
I watched all those programs, Million Dollar Listing, Selling Houses Australia, location, you name it. My whole planner was full of all these different real estate programs. And so I actually went to do my course in REWA.
Mm.
Um, then I'm not sure if it was like unrestricted or what they called it, but essentially I did my 14 days or 2.5 week course with REWA, and I got registered in real estate. And then from there, I honestly didn't actually know. I just was like, okay, let's get into it. Let's see if it's something that I need to start at reception or if I just had to go and run coffees to people, whatever it was. I
Mm.
just wanted to get my foot in the door. And I remember at the time, so it would have been about, 23, 24 years old, I applied for a job as a assistant property manager.
Mm.
And I went to this interview and they did a disc profile. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah, like Tony
That's it.
Robbins.
Yeah, it's the kind of like the personality profile. So I thought I had this really good interview. I was chatting away and they did this disc profile. I had to do a bit of writing, I had to answer these questions, and they both left the room. It was a boutique agency. It was really, really nice. And they came back and sat me down and said, Justine, we love your personality. We love your energy, but you're applying for assistant property manager role. And we actually feel that your personality doesn't quite fit for that type of role.
Mm.
So I was sad. And then they
Yeah.
took a pause and they said, but we would like to offer you another job, which is a business development manager.
Yeah.
And I had no clue what that was. I
Yeah.
was under the table. I was like doing a quick Google. And I was like,
Well,
what?
for those who don't know, what is a business development manager?
So it's BDM, business development manager, is someone that will speak with landlords or build rental portfolios. So landlords, investors talk about their property management services, onboard them as a client, right the way. In some instances, it may be seeing it through the leasing phase and then handing it off to the property manager at that point.
Yeah, wow, that sounds like a big job to hand a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, but amazing.
It was, I feel I'm so glad. And for those that, or business owners or whoever's watching, I definitely recommend doing that disc profile because
Mm.
you don't want to start something then don't enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
And I feel I naturally loved doing this, speaking with investors, speaking with landlords. I could combine my creative side of doing marketing. I
Mm.
think I did some blogs.
Yeah.
I don't want to say built the business development kind of department, but there was no procedures,
Yeah.
no handbooks around or scripts or dialogue. So
Yeah.
I helped kind of put everything in place. But it was very natural talking to landlords because alongside me doing this role, I actually bought my first home and did a subdivision. So,
Wow.
and rented it out. So I
Oh my
felt like
God.
I could relate to investors as well.
How old are you at this point?
I was doing BDM for about a year, and then at the age of about 25, I used my first home buyer's
Wow.
grant. I purchased a property, you can check it out, 61 Cyril Road in High Wycombe. nice big block, about 836 square meter block. I think the zoning had just changed then. But I was also going to a lot of these subdivision seminars, investor nights, just
Yeah.
being a sponge, absorbing everything in. And at that time, I knew that I could renovate. I had the energy to renovate. I had the skill set to understand how to, paint properties or paint walls. And I had the tradies behind me as well, being in property management, which was great. So I moved in because, of course, I used my first home buyer's grant. But
Yep.
about 11 months after that, I did move out.
Yeah.
And I placed a tenant in.
Nice.
House was renovated at this point. I remember actually going to work, starting work at 7 in the morning. I'd meet my investors or landlord clients after hours because they're obviously working. So that sort of 5:30, 6 p.m. mark, I'd sit and spend an hour with them. And then I'd come home at 7:30 at night and pick up the paintbrush and paint till about 2 or 3 in the morning.
Wow.
A few hours sleep.
She's a
And
hard
then,
worker.
and then good strong cup of coffee, and then I'd be back again doing it again. So doing the business development role in real estate mixed with doing my first subdivision and renovation, it was definitely a hard couple of years, but it paid off.
Yeah, certainly did. And I'm so glad you gathered all that knowledge so I can squeeze it out of you, you sponge. Um, with regards to kind of creating that interest in you, what was next from subdividing the block?
I got some advice. So now I'm at this age, I'm sort of 27, 28. And I've got 2 properties under me. I've got the older 3x1, which is renovated. At that time, the rents were quite low, but it was kind of doing quite well. It covered itself. I built on the back. Just for those that are interested in subdividing,
Yeah.
just to kind of go a bit deeper, I used the equity in the front house, and I went with a bank called P&M Bank at the time, who did a lend for my build at the back. And they were the only banks at that time that would lend against a plan.
Oh.
So I had only a little bit of equity in the front, did the plans and did a strata build. So through that, what that means is that then I got the finance to do the build. They built on the back. I did a 4x2 on the back. Once that was built, at the end, I got the Shire. I think you've got to do a Form 10 or something like that. They come out, they check everything's okay. Then you go with that form to Landgate, and then you issue the titles.
Yeah.
So a lot of people tend to issue the titles first to kind of draw up that equity, but I did it the other way around.
Yeah. Look, flipped it around a little bit and shout out P&M Bank.
At the time, it was great.
Cool.
And it was good. I mean, again, so I was under some advice at that time. I always recommend anyone, if you do this sort of stuff, surround yourself with a great team.
Yeah.
Good settlement advice, good mortgage broker, good insurance, good builder,
Yeah.
good real estate agent.
Yeah.
And so what I did, the advice was that, well, you've got an older 3x1. Sell that, get rid of it, because it's only going to cause you maintenance. You're not actually getting that good a yield compared to holding the back property. And that's exactly what I did. So I sold the front, and I sold the front for 365,000, I think, give or take.
Yeah.
But I actually bought the whole block 2 years prior to that for 370,000.
Wow.
So it was amazing. I essentially had a parcel of land at the back that didn't cost me anything. Put the build on the back. Building at that time was so much cheaper. I think it cost me like 280,000 to build a 4x2 home. Yeah, important to have a really good team around you to kind of guide you. And it was advised that I sell the front house, the 3x1, because it's an older property. It's not giving me any depreciation value. It's old maintenance. It's old hot water systems and things like that. It was only just going to cost me. So I sold that, did quite well. I sold the front for, it was about 363,000. And I think I ended up buying the block 2 years before that all together for 380.
Yeah.
So I did quite well, and I held on to the back property. I got really good rent, really good rental yields. It was a new property, depreciation, maintenance covered under kind of, warranty and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So I had that rented out for a good couple of years. So that was like my first dipping my toe into
Stepping
stone into that, investment portfolio.
That's amazing. Very clever investment on your behalf, even especially at that age. I feel like if I was told at 22 that getting into real estate was even possible. I think I would have gotten my registration so much earlier.
I'm not actually very good at saving. Like, I don't know about anyone else out there. I'm actually terrible at it.
Yeah.
And so by buying a house, it forces you to save. I used to look at that house as that is my piggy bank.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, like I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know if it is right to do that, but
Yeah.
that was like my strategy. I've got a bit of money, it's going into the house. It's got a bit of money,
Right.
it's going into the house. It's going into my offset if I had a bit extra. So
And you had a great team to obviously bounce back with and do double checks with if you had a question or just to get their advice on what they would do. That was very useful for you, you'd
so
say.
true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I hope to speak to a lot of those professions during this podcast so I can help build other people's teams or show them a little bit of yours now that I'm well and truly a part of it. Thank you. And so you were talking to investors, you had high energy and strategy with regards to how you conducted yourself in the business. What happened? What happened after that? Did you
Mm.
end up retaining that new build, or what happened when you sold it?
Yeah, so if you can imagine, we've got the two things happening side by side. At this
Mm.
point, I'm still a business development manager.
Yeah.
At the time, the company was signing between, I would say, 6 and 10 managements.
Mm.
Just as I was leaving, I think I signed about 16, 17 managements.
Oh, yeah.
So that was definitely starting to pick up.
Momentum.
Yeah, I held the back property at this point. I've got tenants in. It's all just kind of ticking quite well. And I had to kind of question myself whether I wanted to still be a BDM because I'm in this
Mm.
phase of wanting to learn, wanting to grow, ambitious. I just wanted to know what the next thing is.
Mm.
Possibly slightly hyperactive,
Yeah.
very, very like just want to chat, see what else I can do, what else is out there.
Very
And so,
driven.
I
Mm.
actually, I don't even know if I've told you the story. I stepped into sales.
Right.
So my employees at the time, they could see that I was open for some growth and a new challenge, and it was actually recommended to me for me to step into sales,
Right. I
and
see that. I see
yes,
that.
and I didn't like it.
Very. You still don't like
I
it.
still don't. It's interesting. It's
Mm.
just, and this comes back to that disc profile.
Yeah.
I love helping people. I love getting great results. I love sharing my knowledge. The thing with sales is the roller coaster is a little bit too much for me. The highs are so incredibly high. It is so rewarding. The trust that people put into us. I just am still, I can't believe it. It's just the biggest compliment anyone could do is
Mm.
choose us as a real estate agent. And at the time, I had that confidence that I was signing these listings.
Yeah.
I remember I signed one on Horseshoe Circuit, and it was like $1 million+
Yeah.
listing. But I needed the mentorship. I needed my employers to kind of support me.
Mm.
Let me know when you go into a final inspection, if things don't go right, these are the tools to navigate the script.
Yeah.
If there's a problem that arises here, this is how you lean on your settlement agents. This is how we can counteract some of these and navigate. And that's when I learned, I feel, my age,
Mm.
a little bit, my naivety. And unfortunately, at that time, that's where I was just hoping for maybe some more support from my
Yeah.
mentors and my employers at that time. And I didn't get it.
Mm.
So I just felt really unsure of myself. And that's probably the worst feeling
Yeah.
because then I started to question everything. And then I wasn't happy. And then I just started to have this kind of reflection, and I wanted to go back at what I knew. And my comfort zone was this BDM space, but unfortunately they did fill the role.
Mm.
So there was no spot for me to kind of go back into. And then from that, it resulted in me leaving that particular company and going to work for a bigger company, which was also amazing.
Yeah.
This particular company I moved into, I got applied for a BDM role, this business development manager position,
Mm.
had a track record. It was a really big company. And again, I'm so grateful I had this experience with this company because it actually influenced me on how I wanted to mold a little bit about my own real estate business. This company had a strata department.
Right.
They had a sales department. They had a great property management department.
Yeah.
I think they also had commercial. And within this office, there was this energy,
Yeah.
collaboration, bouncing ideas. Everyone supported everyone. Everyone worked at
It was
everyone.
a team.
It was a team.
Yeah.
It was a team, and there was a lot of knowledge there in that company as well. And I'm just super grateful for that time as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry you went through terrible mentorship, and I'm so happy you had good as well. And I'm glad it shaped the director you are today, because you're bloody good,
Ah,
Justine. Seriously.
thank you.
Bringing it back to Cyril Road, so you've sold the front, you've maintained the back, it's a new build. Um, how did you decide when to hold or when to sell that property?
I think that's like the question we always get asked, isn't it, by
Yeah.
everyone? It's like we just don't have a crystal ball.
Damn, I was
I know,
hoping you'd give me a
and
yes
I
or a
would.
no.
So I guess it's factors that influence your life and what's going on in your world. So I did one and I did quite well out of it. So I replicated it. Did another one actually with my parents in Kelmscott.
Yeah.
This time we retained the front. There was a decommissioned pool in the back. We had some fencing issues. So again, lots of learning. Did a compaction, got rid of the pool, did a compaction report, got the builders in, and then we built 2 on the back. Same strategy. We sold the front older property and then we held onto the back 2 properties. This was with a build called Summit. I don't know if we can shout out to people, but there was someone that we used called Adrian Johnson.
Yeah, you're welcome
from
to.
Summit. He's just amazing. I still recommend him to all my clients. We did again a strata build. I remember with the build at that point, I got an independent build inspector to actually check the quality of the 2 homes. And he said, he is like, I feel bad. I almost feel like I haven't earned my, wage for having to do this. But he said, I genuinely cannot pick up any faults on these 2 properties that have been built with Summit. And it was Adrian's guidance. It was a really unusual shaped block as well. It was like rectangle and then it kind of pointed to the end. So we had to get really creative with what we built on the back, how we positioned the driveway. It was just a really good experience.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to Adrian and ask if he can come to the pod and share his builder's perspective.
Absolutely, you should. He's so good, so kind with his time. I reached out again the other day because I was looking at another property and he's amazing. Just things like, hey, Justine, just be careful. You've got some retaining. I can even see from this that you've got to be careful. This was actually positioned near a river. So he was saying, I already can tell you through other applications we've done, you can't have bedrooms on the lower ground floor. It has to be upper floor. So already just bam in the space of
preemptive due diligence, really.
just another person to have in your corner. Really, really great guy. So at this point, so lots of things going on. And again, ambitious. What's the next thing? What do I want to do?
Justine? Where are you going?
So this particular company, they were also signing around 10 a month. A little bit bigger company. Like I said, they had a really big sales team. I connected with all the guys in the sales team. And when I left, my biggest signed month was 22 managements for the month, which is pretty big.
That's really great.
But again, I wanted to do this for myself. I thought, okay, real estate, I love it. I love helping people.
Cut out the middleman.
But funny story, I actually took a year out of real estate. And do you remember how I was saying I've got that kind of psychology aspect and wanting to help people?
Passionate.
I left real estate. I don't know if it's sort of right in saying this. I just sometimes feel there is this driving factor of results, like I've got the most listings, I've got the best selling home, and you're around this sort of like
almost ego.
I can't explain it. This office, which is okay, and it was predominantly like a male office. That there's nothing wrong with that, but it did just feel very much like that. And I think I just got tired. I just was like, I don't know if I want to keep being around this space. So I literally left real estate. I went to be a job coach. At a company.
Still helping people.
Yeah. Well, that was it. I just wanted to get away from all of that and just go, I want to help people. So I think I was on minimum wage.
Fair enough.
was a job coach for a company that won a contract at that time. They were called Salvation Army Employment Plus. So it
Right.
was around placing those people that were on the dole into the workforce.
Mm.
So I was dealing with people sometimes with various barriers,
Yeah.
A, B's, and C's, and some really difficult factors that would prevent them going into workspace. And
Mm.
I just felt that I was so happy in placing them a job or getting
Yeah.
them a result opposed to getting me a result. And I loved it. It's probably at that time the brokest I've ever been, but one of still the happiest times in just
Yeah.
genuinely helping people. I loved it. Loved
Oh.
it.
I'm broke physically, but internally
Yeah,
very full.
I know. So
Yeah.
then this was my mission. It was like, how do I get the two? Surely
Yeah.
I've got to be able to find a
Oh
balance in
my
getting the two together,
gosh.
right?
Yes. So you obviously came back.
I did.
Yeah. What made you come back?
I was reached out
Mm.
by someone who asked, they were looking for a BDM
Right.
in City Beach.
Yeah, and you were proven to be good at that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And so I went and worked for this company in City Beach, and it was it was right back on all the things that I didn't like.
Right.
Um, I was faced again with mentors or employers. For me, I felt like just because they've been doing this for 20 years, 30
Mm.
years, they felt that, they knew it all.
They knew it all.
And I felt there was no camaraderie within the office, that support, that genuine, like, hey, are you okay? Can we support what's going on? It felt like no one kind of cared out or looked out for each other.
Mm.
And then it was again about all the stats, numbers on the board. This is,
Yeah.
and I was like so unhappy.
Mm.
So unhappy. And then I was like, how do I combine the two? How do I combine this happiness
Mm.
mixed with real estate? And the only way I knew I could do it is buying my own business or buying into a business with someone that maybe
Mm.
shared that vision.
Yeah. How did you end up stumbling across an opportunity like that?
Mm.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm the director and licensee at Centurion Real Estate.
Yeah.
I was 29. So all this happened all in my 20s.
Yeah.
29.
Gosh. Jeez.
I met the director and owner at the time of Centurion, and his dad was stepping into retirement. So he was looking for someone that could be a business partner,
Yeah.
that had the energy. We shared a lot of values in
Mm.
how we sort of saw real estate
Mm.
come to the people, and a vision and marketing and procedures and processes and all of that kind of stuff. So there was two of us at the time that bought in. So in
Mm.
total, when I hit the age of 30, I was a third ownership of Centurion Real Estate.
Yeah. Wow. That's yeah, a huge feat, Justine. Crazy right into real estate. Um, how did, with regards to entering that space as the third owner of the business, um, how did you get there? Is this to do with anything towards your investment at that time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the biggest, I guess, that the way, sorry, I was able to buy in was
Right.
that I had to on sell my investment properties to raise the finances to buy in.
Yeah.
So good question, because that was where it originally landed. Is when should you hold?
Hmm.
When should you sell?
Yeah.
And ultimately, I felt that I had enough growth in the housing market that it started to actually at that point come off the boil a little bit. Vacancy
Mm.
rates were quite high with our rents at that point in time. Yeah, because this would be about 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I thought, well, if I can pull that money out from here
Mm.
and put it into here, I'm going to get a better ROI. I'm going to get a better return on investment. And it was a risk.
Yeah.
It's really risky, but again, I'm at the age
Mm.
that I was okay to take that risk. I didn't have children.
Yeah.
I was able to sell the properties and dive in headfirst, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best thing sometimes is to have your wage cut and
Mm.
live within a certain means.
Yeah.
What was happening is that every time I would get more listings, I would get more brackets, commission based, even BDM, you have a base salary and then
Yeah.
it's a commission on top of that.
Yeah.
So you can imagine I was, making a comfortable wage at that
Yeah,
point.
because you were driven, you were smashing your numbers.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Mm.
you spend it,
Yeah, you
right?
make money, you spend more money.
Literally, literally. And so,
Mm.
and I did tell you, I was,
Yeah.
no secret to I cannot save.
Mm.
And so then exactly. And then you buy the car and then you buy the clothes and then you buy all these sorts of things.
Yeah.
The best thing about leaving real estate, working as a job coach, is it just brings you totally back down to earth.
Mm.
It made me realize priorities.
Yeah.
What are my priorities? People are priority.
Yeah.
People's health, mental health, happiness. Walking my dog in a park cost me
Mm.
nothing.
Yeah.
Going to the beach, seeing the ocean, taking a sandwich at Kings Park. And so I just had that complete shift
Mm.
in, I don't know if I can swear, but I just got rid of the bullshit. I got rid of all that superficial stuff.
You can swear on Patty's pod.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I got rid of it all, Patty. I got rid of it all. And I did. It
Cool.
was just coming back to, stuff doesn't make you happy. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that because it's still true, and I think that will ring through to a lot of people, to be honest, including myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, cool. And I guess from there you unlocked your equity, would you say?
Yep.
And yeah, you knew you were ready for the next step.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And buying into a business, learning. It was
Yeah,
learning. It's honestly, it's like a marriage. It's
yeah,
it's you are getting close to your business partners.
yeah.
So again,
You're
it's about,
there.
yeah, you want to make sure that you're aligned with your business partners. We're a small boutique office. I'm located in High Wycombe.
Mm.
And
You
yeah,
shared a really good analogy the other day with regards to when you first entered that space as the owner, in regards to it being a little bit of a bakery
oh
along
yeah,
the
yeah.
lines. Yeah. What can you share that with us
I
again?
always say this. Sometimes if you're a business owner, it's about having and wearing all the hats.
Mm.
So a bakery or a baker can be really good at making that loaf of bread
Yeah.
and the best delicious loaf of bread that you can imagine.
Mm.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're any good at selling it.
Yeah.
And even if when you do sell it, do you understand what your profit and your losses are? And do you understand the financial runnings of the business? And do you understand marketing? And do you understand repeat client service and promotions? And just absolutely every facet. But again, I wanted to learn, right? So
Yeah.
I stepped in as a BDM. That was like my role at that point.
Mm.
But I knew that I wanted to take the business and grow it and just become an expert in every single department that I could.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess you're in the bakery. You're baking the bread.
Baking the bread.
Yeah.
Then the market took a downturn, Patty.
Okay.
Then we
Yeah.
had COVID.
Oh, fun. That would have been a great real estate experience. How was that?
I know, nothing prepares you. So, yeah, so COVID, obviously, at the time, we did not know
Mm.
how this was going to impact real estate. I think rents at that point started to improve slightly, but we were still seeing a very high vacancy rates.
Yeah.
I remember opening properties 4, 5, 6 times, still having to get rental reductions. With COVID, the news was basically saying and advising tenants to stop paying rent.
Yeah.
And we were waiting for support through, various platforms, through REWA, through governing bodies that were trying to guide us, demurs, on what we should be doing and how we should be tackling this.
Yeah.
And then what happened was there was a period where we closed the doors, we closed the office doors, we had to, the reception, there was all these staffing issues, obviously health and safety issues.
Mm.
So that was a huge amount of stress on the business and our business partners.
Yeah.
But we got through it.
Yeah.
Um,
Cruise through 2020 or
yeah,
2021.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then doors opened, WA was protected. We
Yeah.
were starting to get a huge amount of, immigration coming in, workers coming into WA, rental the demand started to drop. So we were opening one house and getting, at that point, it'd be like 5 or 6 groups through, which was like an amazing market then,
Yeah.
okay, cool, things are going good. And then it just continued to sort of improve from that point. And what was great was the market improved, but unfortunately the relationship with my business partners went the other way, which is, yeah,
Yeah, we're all adults.
yeah.
Yeah. No, fair enough. And then, so I guess in between baking the bread, I suppose there was a point where you and your partners decided you need to be the baker and you need to do the accounts and you need to market the bread
And do everything.
and do everything.
So, well, what happened naturally, a lot of business owners might understand this. So, there was one business partner, she was always ready for retirement.
Mm,
That was always a very open conversation with a succession plan, with me stepping in,
yeah,
taking on that licensee role.
yeah,
And it just naturally happened that the other business partner had another opportunity as well.
yeah,
So now I'm at the age of 35,
yeah,
and I bought out my two business partners, which is incredible. So
yeah,
now I'm, the only owner and licensee
yeah.
and director at Centurion.
Yeah, amazing, Justine. Like, no, I haven't met anyone who's walked that same path. With regards to that and following on with you absorbing your business partners,
Mm.
how did the responsibility shift with regards to obviously having other people there to be able to lean on when it
Mm.
came to important things when it, with owning the business?
Yeah.
Was it a dramatic shift almost like when you left real estate into another field? Was it similar in regards to the responsibility shift when you absorbed them?
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like an analogy or again a story comes to mind
Yeah,
in
please.
terms of what was happening. Have you ever seen back in the day those horses? They would be, a horse and cart, and they'd be going in a direction, and they would have like the gun dogs running down the side.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was the gun dog that was on a cart and horse, not going in the right direction,
Mm,
and so I was fighting the direction. And in fighting the direction, I always again knew I had an idea because I'd gone to these various past offices that I worked at, and I was like, I knew in my head what I wanted.
mm.
So it was this like battle of being dragged along. Is the only way. I hope it's not too like bad to
No,
describe it. Was the only way
it
or the only
helps.
analogy. And so what happens is when you're unhappy, I just had a huge amount of stress,
Yeah.
and everything came to a head a little bit. And I'll share this for those that I don't know if you're ever feeling in the same boat, but I started to get, they're called hemiplegic migraines.
Right.
So it's where you get paralyzed down one side of your body. So down my side, my left, and I couldn't walk, talk, or do anything.
My goodness.
And I realized then that stress can literally cripple you, literally.
Yeah.
And it was scary. And again, I've done kickboxing. I'm into
Mm,
sports. I'm pretty tough. But stress was one of those things that I really now take time and space. And I'm glad I went through it because I really want to make sure that the rest of my team don't ever go through that.
mm.
And so when you say, how did that responsibility shift? I all of a sudden had a huge amount of responsibility, but it was
Yeah.
going in the direction I wanted it to go in.
Mm.
So now it's like coming back on a roller coaster. A roller coaster gives you the same adrenaline,
Yeah.
but it's a different type of adrenaline stress that your body goes through.
Mm.
It's the fun kind.
It's almost exciting when you absorb them because every decision, every idea you had could be executed. You could trial it
Spot on.
without getting approved through, you know, two other business owners. You were it.
Exactly.
You said approved.
Exactly. And even if I did make a mistake,
Mm,
it was my mistake. And
yeah,
sometimes mistakes are okay as well. You
yeah.
learn from mistakes. But if you don't do anything, then you're not ever going to improve, or you're always going to be standing still.
Mm,
It's okay to make a mistake. Let's assess it. Let's analyze it. Can we improve it? Let's put a procedure in place. Okay, let's try and go now in this direction.
yeah.
So,
Which
yeah.
I incredibly value in you as a director because it really does shine through and the way you manage us. And I just think it allows us a bigger space to grow.
Mm.
And yeah, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I guess you're 35 years old, which is very young, by the way.
I bought out my business partners at 35. I'm
Okay.
actually 38.
Yeah.
But
Oh my
thank you
God.
for saying I look 35.
You do,
I'm
girl.
38. I'm not quite 40 yet, but I'm not far off.
Okay, yeah. Well, talking about that, you're not quite 40, exactly right. So, what are the next plans and next steps for Centurion? Where are we going with the
Hmm.
space?
Well, we've had an amazing year. I just had Sam Harris win Re Reward of Excellence,
Yes.
went national, picked up Excellence Award across Australia and New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Siobhan Farmer won REWA 2024 Property Manager of the Year. that was just always a dream to have
Yeah.
a property management department where my investors and landlords can bring their property and know they are looked after from start to finish.
Yeah.
And we've designed the department and the team so that they understand it's coming from an investor for investors, basically.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of little things, we can have me back on another podcast and I can talk all about property management and how we do things different for our landlords and investors. But
Yeah.
that's been amazing. Sales, I've got obviously yourself and Ellie, and you're just doing such incredible things in the sales space. Again, my hat off to you. You remember I did sales, and I think I lasted I didn't even last a year. So my hats go off to you guys. It's a tough job.
Yeah.
And excuse me. The next space that I really want to explore is strata.
Yeah.
So what's happening a bit in my experience, again, as an investor and as a property manager, is that we would manage these properties, and if there was a maintenance issue with the apartment upstairs, or strata had to get involved.
Yeah, I find selling strata quite difficult, only because, well, it depends on the strata manager, right?
It makes or breaks a strata.
Yeah, as a real estate sales specialist and reaching out to those listings that are strata, we need documents from them. We need the levies. We need everything that we need to know to disclose to the buyers. And
Yep.
I do find it a hard request. Is that what you were seeing in that
Yeah,
space?
absolutely. Hard request. They wouldn't even return my call.
Yeah.
They wouldn't return my phone call. They didn't acknowledge anything. Turnover of staff. And then I understand we've had strata reforms now, and that was a long time coming, because it is like we have to do our CPD and we have to do registration and we have to get certified and we have to do ongoing, training. Strata didn't ever have that in that space.
Yeah, which that shocked me. I think you explained to me that wasn't necessarily a requirement on the strata end, and I couldn't believe they weren't receiving the same level of
Education.
education,
Yeah.
general education and hands-on experience with regards to the documents and procedures.
Yeah.
I find they vary too much.
Yep. And that's it. Strata is like this kind of glue in the middle that holds these two departments together, because sales, you just said you're selling strata, right?
Yeah.
And then property management, we're managing in strata. And then I deal with these investors that are looking at buying into strata. And it's, again, I could do a whole other podcast on strata. But
yeah, you'll be back, Justine.
Yeah. And I think because now when you've got a question on a property you're listing and it's a strata related question, and hey, can you check the sink fund? Can you check these levies? Is the insurance cover adequate? You're also doing your due diligence for your seller and your buyer, but you've got myself and Kate to kind of come back to reinforce that learning around strata as well. And the same with property management. So it's interesting for those watching. We don't have it on our website. We don't push that we do strata, but just through word of mouth, we are growing quite rapidly in that space, just through councils of owners that are wanting a quality strata manager.
Yeah, well, thanks for giving me a pod exclusive with the strata announcement. Cool. I guess what I'd like to finish this episode of Keys to the Hustle with is obviously providing another key, even though you've just given us what seriously feels like 100 keys to your hustle. Thank you so much, Justine. I'd like to, as a piece of advice, if you could go back 10 years ago and give yourself some advice or a heads up about anything, what's some advice you would share?
Yeah. Sounds kind of cliche, but that just believing yourself.
You honestly still tell me that weekly because I need to hear it.
I know, right? We do such amazing things, but sometimes we can be our own biggest hurdle. I had these business owners that were older than me, and they came across like they knew it all. They put me down. It's like they didn't like change. So any of you guys looking to get into a real estate office or real estate, my biggest tip, honestly, is interview your bosses, your employers, their management. Go on their socials, look at their Instas, look at their TikTok, stalk them. Because if you are put with, just because they've done it for years, doesn't necessarily mean they're the best at it. So that would be definitely a key thing if you're getting into real estate.
And I mean no offense, but anyone can look good on a bus stop as well.
Yeah. I mean, if their
Do your due
marketing is on a
diligence.
bin, just, I don't know, turn the
Yeah,
other
or keep
direction.
keep going. Yeah.
But so that, if you're looking into getting into real estate, number two,
Mm.
yeah, just believe in yourself and just make yourself the smartest person in the room. Read, watch videos, train yourself, scripts, dialogues. Just be a sponge, absorb it, network,
Yeah.
speak with other people in the industry. There's so many amazing people right now, like Ashley Goodchild, and
Mm.
those people that are creating this amazing space in the real estate area. I would do it. I hope that strata and sales, those sort of spaces develop as well. But yeah, just believe in yourself, have fun. For those business owners, a tip for you guys would be arm yourself with the best lawyer.
Yeah.
Um,
A very valuable one, I'd assume, in this very busy, demanding market.
Yeah, just a key to have someone like that in your back pocket as well.
Yeah.
So again, always, even if you're not the smartest person in the room, just try and align yourself with someone that is, or someone that you can mentor or bounce from. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely don't assume that if you have a director that you're not necessarily being heard from, just remember, don't believe the dinosaurs. Okay, there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to the industry. So
And just on that, sorry, the industry is changing
yeah,
consistently. Marketing, the way we're going digital, DocuSign, REI forms,
yeah.
Inspect Real Estate. There are these like platforms that are
Social
just
media marketing.
social media. There's just so many. So again, is that person that's been doing it for 20 years, are they ahead of the game
Yeah,
with
are they
these
up to
trends?
date? Are they
Or are
hip?
they sitting in their comfort zone because that's how it's been done for 20 years? So
Yeah.
yeah, just check that you're aligned with a company that's embracing change.
Yeah, they say on the farm that you can't teach old dogs new tricks. So maybe that rings true to those scenarios. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much, Justine.
No worries. Thank you for having me again.